Studies by the American Psychological Association show that 30 to 40% of divorces are attributed to infidelity. Another study from the American Psychological Association show that 1 out of 4 married people admit to having had one form of cheating or another while married. It is a well-known fact that many marriages don't survive infidelity. The ones that survive struggle almost perpetually from trauma that is induced or triggered by betrayal. They struggle from trust. Trust is ruptured in the marriage. And then again, forgiveness is an issue. It's not every time that infidelity is forgiven. So to repair marriages that have gone through or experienced infidelity is always a problem. It is important here to say that cheating or affairs don't begin with sex. They don't start with sex. They always start with the casual compliments, casual phone calls, casual coffees together, and before you know it, you cross the line. In this video, we're going to look at the top 10 places that people meet their affair partners. The workplace is by far the most exposed place for your marriage. What does that mean? It means that your marriage is most exposed, most vulnerable in your workplace, because most people spend 40 to 60 hours every day working with the same people who are not their spouses. What that means is that there's proximity. You spend 40 to 6 hours every week with the same people who you are not married to, who are opposite sex. You get close to them, you spend time with them, you struggle with them, you solve problems with them. Sometimes you eat with them, and sometimes try to solve problems that are not work-related problems. So what that does is that proximity goes to familiarity. And familiarity can go to opportunity if you don't have boundaries, and opportunity can lead to infidelity. The second most likely place to meet an affair partner is from your list of ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends or ex-classmates. Why is that so? It's so because today we have internet, today we have social media. Before now, people leave their ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends, and there's a likelihood that you may never see them again. You go on with your life, they move on with their life. You may never meet again. But that's not so today. Because of social media, you could easily tap in somebody's number on Instagram, on Facebook, anywhere you like, on the internet, and you see their name, ex-classmates. So there's a likelihood, and a lot of people want to check in and say, I'm just checking in casually. People just check in casually on ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends, or even ex-wives or ex-husbands or ex-classmates, and then they start to talk, and then they start to get together for coffee, and then they cross the line, and we'll call it infidelity. The gym is the third most likely place to meet an affair partner. We live in a world where everybody's interested in being fit. Everybody wants to be fit. So everybody goes to the gym for one reason or the other. A lot of people start to have very close interactions with their personal trainers or the person who is guiding them in the gym. They get very close. They spend time together. Personal time. Sometimes they talk about their body part. You could do this about your hand. You could do this about your leg. You could do this about your laps. You could do this about here, about there. Before you know it, this proximity leads to familiarity. They start to touch you sometimes. This familiarity, because sometimes there are poor boundaries, could immediately lead to opportunities. And these opportunities come to break marriages as infidelity. The friends and families of your spouse is the fourth place that people are likely to meet affair partner. A lot of people get very close, very familiar with the friends of their spouse, opposite sex, or the families of their spouse, especially their friends. There are so many people who cheat. There are so many men, so many women who cheat with their husband's friend or with their wife's friend. Somebody who is very close to their husband or somebody who is very close to their wife. Unfortunately, they start to talk. A lot of times, your wife is not there, you are talking. A lot of times, your husband is not there, you are talking. Sometimes they visit the house, your husband is not there or your wife is not there, and you entertain them and you sit with them, you talk with them. Sometimes you even drink with them or share drink, sometimes alcoholic drink, and one thing could lead to the other, and then the unfortunate. The fifth place that people are most likely to meet is in their neighborhood. Your neighborhood is where you live, where you spend a lot of time, when you are not at work. A lot of people are interested in neighborhood meetings, neighborhood volunteer this, neighborhood volunteer that. You attend these neighborhood associations, neighborhood meetings, and then you start to mix with people who are in the neighborhood, who are opposite sex. With good intentions, you are trying to contribute to the development of the neighborhood, and then you get very close to them, spend time to them. Sometimes they appoint you into a committee, or they appoint you into some kind of voluntary work together. It makes you to become familiar. And like I say, every time there's familiarity, if you don't put a fence around it, this familiarity could now become an opportunity. And if this opportunity is not well managed, it could become infidelity. Social media is the sixth place that married people are most likely to meet their affair partners. Today, everybody uses social media, either this or this or this or all of them. Because everybody's on social media, it's very likely that people can meet people online and start to chat with them. Of course, some people meet their husbands or wives online, which is good. But unfortunately, people who are already already married also meet affair partners online on Facebook. In fact, a study cited that 1 in 4 divorces cite Facebook as a cause of divorces. What it means is a lot of people meet people, strangers, on Facebook, and then they start to talk, they start to chat, they start to call themselves, and then one day they get together for coffee, and then they cross the line, and then start to hide it from their spouse, and that's infidelity, that's cheating. Church and ministry settings, unfortunately, is the 7th most likely place where people meet their affair partners. Church is a fellowship. Everybody is together as brethren. We mix together. We have departments. There's choir, there's usher, there's protocol. People mix together. People get to know themselves very well, share phone numbers, sometimes even visit homes. This creates automatic proximity. People are very close to each other. There's familiarity. When this familiarity does not come with a lot of healthy boundaries, emphasis on healthy. If you don't have healthy boundaries, this familiarity can cross and present itself as opportunity. And when boundaries are poor, the opportunity looks like something that you have to grab, and then it becomes infidelity, it becomes cheating, and then your marriage is exposed. School runs and school events are the next place that you are most likely to meet affair partners. Everybody takes children to school. Sometimes it's the wife, sometimes it's the husband, sometimes you alternate depending on your work schedule. Your children have schoolmates, classmates. As you take them to school, you meet other people. You meet other people about your age that are bringing children to school. You start to talk. Maybe they're friendly with your child. You start to talk. You start to see them regularly. Maybe share phone numbers. And then you start to call yourself. And then one day after taking them to school, maybe you want to get coffee near the school. Or maybe you want to do an event, party, school party. This familiarity leads to the next stage. And the next stage leads to the next stage. Again, like I always say, if you don't have very good boundaries, if you have poor boundaries, you are going to take poor decisions. Your judgment is going to fail you because you don't have boundaries that are supposed to stop you. School runs, school events, whatever you do with this children's school can easily expose you to meet people opposite sex that you could cheat with. Business trips and conferences are the 9th most likely place to expose you to affair partners. Most people travel for business. People who work in corporate settings and people who work for themselves, they go for this conference or that seminar or that training. In the process, you meet people you don't know or people you knew even before the trip. Sometimes you are staying in the same hotel. And sometimes your rooms are close to each other. You get to the lounge, get to the restaurant, you eat together, and sometimes you drink. People who drink alcohol could impair their judgment. You get some drinks together. And because their rooms may be near to your room, you could say, let me say hello to you, let me see your room. The 1 week or a couple of days that you are in that conference or in that business trip could become an opportunity to cheat, except again, if your boundaries are very strong. If your boundaries are not very strong, you're going to do something that you'll regret. The last but not the least are your domestic staff and your service providers. Domestic staff are people that live with you, opposite sex. They could be young men or young women. They could be people that work in your garden or work in your swimming pool, or plumbers or electricians, or people that come to do hair, or people that live with you permanently, that nannies. It could be any staff. Because they come regularly, you start to take care of them. You start to give them food, give them drinks, sometimes give them tips. You have their phone numbers, you start to talk with them. You find out they're good people. And then again, always, if your boundaries are not good, this familiarity can be crossed. You cross that line, and then you start to see it as an opportunity, especially if you feel like you are neglected either by your wife or by your husband, or maybe your husband is traveling a lot or your wife is traveling a lot. This will look like a very good opportunity. If your boundaries are poor, you take very poor decisions, then your marriage is endangered by infidelity. It is very important to know or to make clear that working with people, you can work with people for 30 years. There's proximity, there's familiarity, and there won't be any infidelity. It is important to make that very clear. It's not everybody that works with people in a close proximity or close familiarity that crosses the line or that becomes an opportunity for infidelity. No, that's not the truth. A lot of people have worked together for 20, 30 years, decades, and there's no issue of indisciplinary behavior or extramarital relationships. So it's good to make that clear. So many people have worked together or have been together with domestic staff or have been together with any kind of exposure without any problems that has to do with infidelity. You see, because we know that a lot of marriages don't survive infidelity, and we also know that the marriages that survive infidelity, they struggle. And the struggle can be very, very serious. They struggle with trust issues because trust is seriously ruptured. They struggle with trauma that is induced by betrayal. So many don't survive it. And even the ones that we call they have survived, they actually didn't survive. Infidelity can destroy a marriage. Because of that, it is very important that we pay very good attention to the boundaries around us where we work. When there's familiarity, be sure that there's a fence around the familiarity so that you don't cross the line, because you can be vulnerable in sometimes. And you're going to do things you will regret. You could do things you think, I couldn't believe I could do this. So you need to be very mindful of these places, because we can't do without these places. We are all exposed to these places, but we can manage them with a lot of wisdom. If this message has spoken to you, I want you to share with everybody who is married or not married, because everybody is either you're married or you're going to be married. Share with them. If you're a returning viewer, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're new to this channel, my name is JP Forward. See you in the next one.